Well, hello everyone. Thank you for coming. Today we have some unfinished business from last week, but also we need to first make some announcements. Next week we begin the year-end cheese, where we do 1 week of Fo Chi, and 10 weeks of Chan Chi. So, meaning that we want to have a change in schedule. That is, we will stop this class here because it interferes with, it has conflict with the schedule of both Fo Chi and Chan Chi. So, and I'm very sorry about that. So traditionally, we stop these classes. However, we know that some of you would still like to attend to get some online classes. So you could attend the classes online by Thiền by the Vietnamese, and attend a class somewhere by Master XZ and Master Xian Che. He's teaching English chant class as well, right? On Wednesdays, okay. And Xianan teaches Korean chant class on Wednesdays as well. So please, if you plan to attend those classes, and should you need any help, you can still ask me questions, ask us questions. We'll try to answer them to you during our regular evening lectures. So every night we'll have lectures from 7:20 Pacific Standard Time to around 9:20 Pacific Standard Time. So every single night, okay? On the weekends, it's Fridays, Saturday, and Sundays, Pacific in California time, we will also have lectures. We continue the lectures, so no interruption there. So you have a lot more chances to get online and ask questions. Okay. Am I missing anything?
Yes. Next week we will be forwarding 1 hour tomorrow. So next week the class will start at
So in the U.S., California, we have a daylight change on this Sunday here, this weekend here, so that the clock here in the United States are backed up 1 hour. Okay, so all the classes will be earlier for those of you who do not have those time changes.
Right, so for Korea, the time doesn't change. For Asia, the time doesn't change, but for here, we start at 4 a.m.
4 a.m.?
Sorry, 4 p.m. I apologize.
But next week is no class.
Friday
Fridays.
the last class, right? Oh, we cancel it.
Yeah, Friday is there a last class or no? Is next Friday a last class?
Yeah, next Friday is the last class.
Okay, I'm getting too old. I apologize. Friday will be our last class for this chant class here for Asia.
Right.
My chant class for Asia.
Right.
Okay, but the other classes are still on the entire cheese. All right. Any questions about that? I apologize. I got mixed up. Okay, so next week will be our last class for the year. And then we begin again next, what day is that? The first day, the first Friday of January. Okay. Can we have, do we have the first February, sorry, first Friday of February. And maybe we have the email or contact information, we'll remind them. Okay, let's do that. All right, any questions or comments? Yes, Conk. Can't hear you. Cannot hear you at all. Why don't you test out the equipment? Because we cannot hear them at all. This is basic. Why don't we test this thing before we got started? It's a recurring problem every single weekend. We should have figured it out right now. You should have a checklist of if there's no sound, there's only at most several places where there is a problem. You should go down the checklist, that's all. It shouldn't be that difficult. So last weekend was the boy's fault. Now he's not here. Whose fault is it? They can hear us, so we can't hear them. Okay, what about while they're working on this problem? What about the remaining question, the open questions that were not addressed last time?
他们在处理这个问题。上一周呢，我们还有一个没有回答的问题。
Why don't you do that? It's not my job to work on that.
Can Jewel Kunk try again?
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
Yes. My questions are
Sorry, everyone,
externalists
about this.
are false, essentially. No, my question is externalists are false teachings essentially, or is a kind of a different way of seeking the truth?
Could you repeat the question, please?
No, I told you. Is externalist a false teaching or a different form of seeking truth that are not essentially false, but something cannot be included into Buddhist teachings?
Okay, that's another question. What about the remaining questions from last time? Anyone remembers what the questions were?
Master, this is Sarah.
Yes.
I have that long question about attachment and the love. Would you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, please, for everyone's sake, and mine as well. I don't remember.
Okay, thank you. There's an anonymous question from Korea.
Okay,
So
that's
this
the love thing here. Did we address the previous question from Jumi, who now since then moved to Wei Mountain Temple? She's-
제가 지난주에 마스터께 헬로 마스터. 제가 지난주에 총 마스터께 3개의 질문을 드렸는데, 답변을 듣지 못했지만, 지금 뭔가 통신상의 문제로, 질문을 드립니다. 첫 번째 질문은, 제가, 그러니까 생쥐로 저를 비유했는데 이렇게 도와주고 이렇게 가르쳐줬던 그런 고양이를 물 수 있는 그런 위험한 쥐인데도 불구하고 마스터께서 물론 자비로우시겠지만 저를 가르쳐 주신 이유가 궁금했다고 첫 번째 질문이 그거였습니다.
Master, thank you. I'd like to repeat my 3 questions. Number 1, I told you that I am a rat, a mouse, and the mouse that is capable of biting a cat who taught me. And even though you already knew that I'm a dangerous mouse, why did you decide to teach me?
그리고 보라 선언의 통신 상태가 좋아지면 저는 2번, 3번을 듣지 않아도 됩니다. 말씀해 주셨습니다. 그러니까 보라 선언의 통신 상태가 완전하게 되면 2번, 3번 답변을 안 들어도 된다는 뜻입니다. 말씀께 전해 주셔도 될 것 같아요. 답변 안 주셔도 될 것 같아요. 보라서는 질문을 먼저 답해 주셔야 되는 게 맞는 연결되면 그 뜻.
She said the numbers 2 and 3 questions she could wait, and maybe we could answer the Zhu Kang's questions first.
Okay, maybe. Okay, why is she a mouse and I'm a cat? She cannot be more wrong, more mistaken than that. I'm no mouse. I'm more like a chicken. I mean, I'm no cat. I'm more like a chicken. Okay? But using her analogy, why would I teach a dangerous person? First of all, I don't look at her as neither a mouse nor a dangerous person. She puts words, the choice of words is unfortunate and they're inaccurate. However, we can address the question, I will address the question based on her perspective. If she feels she's a dangerous person, why would I teach her? I teach her because I guess I'm trying to pretend to be a teacher, learn to be a teacher. If you remember in Buddhism, the Buddha taught all living beings, including demons. Demons are a lot more dangerous than rats, I would think. And yet, the Buddha chose to teach demons anyway. So that's why when I see dangerous people, including demons or rats, I don't discriminate. I will teach them if they're willing to learn. If they're no longer learning, they don't learn properly, or they don't execute properly. In particular, if the cause is not just for themselves, but if they cause problems for others in the sense that they prevent others from cultivating, then stop teaching. Otherwise, I don't care if you're whoever you are, you come to the temple, we don't discriminate. We will share with you what we know. Why is that? Number one, again, trying to pretend to be like the Buddha and teach everyone who comes, who would like to learn. And number two, also for me, unlike the Buddha, I'm learning a lot from all kinds of people. Actually, I learned so much more about, I started to understand a lot more about Chan after I was told by my late Chinese teacher to start teaching. And so by teaching, I really enjoy the fact I get to meet all kinds of people, dangerous and non-dangerous, nice and evil, and they really are more challenging than my own personal cultivation. So that's why. It's not so much about whether you're dangerous or not. To me, it's more like we are an environment where people come and practice together. It's called the Great Assembly Dharma. Whether it's Chan, whether it's reciting the Buddha's name, whether it's tantras, whether it's sutras and so forth, it's a group setting. So it's a wonderful process of practice that enable us, our people, our students to progress very, very quickly. And that part of our certain teaching in Mahayana. So I really, I'm trying to take advantage of that environment. So that's why we get these big places that most of the time are empty, but then during these qis, the people have a chance to come. We try to accommodate them so that we can all learn from each other and make progress together. Okay, so that's why it's important to us. It doesn't matter who you are. There's some people that I refuse to teach, or in worst cases, I would encourage them to leave, or arrange for them to leave, so that because they're too disruptive to the others' cultivations. Otherwise, whether you are a demon, a rat, or whoever, and you're willing to learn, I'm willing to teach. Okay, there's a question about love. It's an easy question for me to address as well. It's because you asked the wrong person, basically. I'm not qualified to teach you about love. In particular, when I was a lay person, I was a divorced man as well. So I was a loser, okay, a failure. So who am I to know and tell you about love, okay? If I did, you shouldn't believe me, okay? But in general, people come to the temple. Before that, when you ask a question, okay, and you want, I respect your anonymity, but I don't answer hypothetical questions. If you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. And then it, to me, then becomes a hypothetical question, and therefore I can't answer those things. And my answers are specific to people. So, for example, the Korean Sunims come to me and they ask me questions, and I teach them. I tell them each and every one of them. I said, I know you Koreans share everything. Okay, that's your culture. I understand that, I respect that. But you have to be careful. What I teach you is only for you only. And therefore, you share with others, it may not work for them, it might cause them problems. Okay, so it's because my answer is very specific to specific people, to specific times, to specific cases. Okay, so you want to remain anonymous? Fine, I can. I will give you a generic question answer a little bit later. But if you really want to get my personal guidance, you have to show up and ask me. Okay. Otherwise, I will tell you if I have a question like that. I said, you came to my temple, someone helped you, and you after a while you fall in love with that person. I remember that question vaguely like that, right? And now it hurts because that man ignored you or cold or whatever. It's quite common in our temples because the nature yin and yang, you have put men and women together, and they're bound to have some feelings. Okay, that's a natural part of life. You get close to people, you have feelings naturally. Okay, so these things happen naturally, and it's no one's fault. Okay, the Chinese, like my master, Master YongHua taught is that you should not indulge in those things and so forth. But I am not of that beliefs. I feel it's a natural thing, and to me, love is a beautiful thing. It's if you have a pure love, a true love, then it really can motivate people to do extraordinary things. All kinds of love. Love for your nation, love for your country, love for your parents, love for your loved ones. Okay, those are very exceptionally strong motivational forces that enable people that I observe to have great achievements, including getting enlightened. So to me, I have no problems with love. If people love each other, that's fine. However, from the nature of the question, this person here feels rejected and it hurts. To me, I would like to make this comment. Okay, to me, love is not like most people think of love as something that is constant. Okay, love evolves, love changes. She feels rejected and by this person who she really never had a loving relationship. So why should you decide to get hurt? That doesn't make sense. Okay? Get hurt. If you get hurt because you have a relationship and then you say, okay, now this person is not the same person as I thought I loved. That's different. But you really never had any real relationship yet. Okay? There's no real connection yet. So why should you get hurt? It's just, if you want to love, to me, love is something that is earned. Something you are loved because you deserve to be loved. So I would rather not say, how come you cold towards me? How come you rejected me? I make myself more lovable. I make myself more attractive. I would. So that's how I approach love. I don't say that why you stop loving me, but I'd rather say, what can I do to make myself more lovable, more desirable person? Okay. Similarly, not just her, but in general, we have this problem where it's not just for us, but for everyone, whether it's Buddhism or outside of Buddhism. People think of love as constant because they are scared, because no one ever dare tell them. They only tell them love is a beautiful thing, a desirable thing. Never tell them that, in my humble opinion, love is an earned thing. Love evolves because with that beautiful thing, it comes, you do it right, becomes stronger, becomes better. It becomes more lovely, more wonderful. It's not something that's possessive. Okay? If you really love someone, someone asked me a question recently. She says she's known this her fiancé for a few years now, and she has some problems with her status here in the U.S. So she's struggling with that, and on top of it, the fiancé is now having second thoughts because his mother is definitely against him marrying her. So she asked me, what do I do? And I told her, my advice to her is that you should take the high road. I told her to take the high road and say, I love you enough so that I would rather you abandon me than you abandon your own mother. Okay? And so she says, yeah, but what else can I do? I said, you take the high road. And if he says, I am willing to elope and run away with you, okay, that's when you run away with him. Ignore the mother, because that kind of person you don't want to lose. However, if he says, okay, you're right, I go back to my mother, and then you say, then you better off leaving that man with the next woman, because he's going to love his mother more than he loves his wife. Why would you want to marry such a person? Okay? So love to me is you should love someone enough so that you want good things to happen to that person. Not love that person to make this person your possession, your exclusive possession, and that is a dead love to me, a love that doesn't evolve. You are evolving as a person, and your love should too evolve as well. All right, any questions about love? That's all I know, okay? But for specifics, I don't know enough specifics to dare touch this problem. Yes, go ahead, Sarah. Number one.
Master, I just want to explain that this anonymous person didn't say this happened in a temple, in our temple.
Okay. Could happen anywhere. Love is universally applicable. All right, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, there's one question about Conk about this externalist. Is that false teaching? We never meant to say that externalist teachings are false teachings. Not at all. Who are we to say it's false? You know, as a matter of fact, Buddhist teaching is false teaching as well, if you ask me. So why would we call any other teaching false teaching? Okay, don't quote me, by the way. And the other monks will not be happy with me. But Buddhists too. Buddhism is a false teaching as well. So we never, maybe the translation is incorrect or her recollection is incorrect. We never call the externalist teaching a false teaching. Okay, we would be pompous, would be arrogant of us to call anyone else false when our own teaching is false. Okay, so externalist is in a translation from Chinese. 外道, 外道. Well, 外道 is white is outside. 道 is way. So probably a better translation would be outside ways. It's better translation externalist, in my opinion. Because externalist causes problems with people, as it has more derogative and negative connotations than outside ways. Okay, but since my master's side, where I learned the Mahayana, I first learned Mahayana from, they translated as externalists. That's what we use, because when I first started, I didn't know better. I would stick to whatever they did because they knew more. They had more. They have PhDs in Sanskrit, PhDs in Chinese. They have Chinese. They have all kinds of very, very important and smart and well-educated people. So who am I to contradict them? But as I get older and I hear this story here and this question here, and I teach more of you, and I realize that those are not, unfortunately, the best translations. I wouldn't, and I apologize if I use those and I offended some of you. Okay, yeah, it's outside ways. Why is it called outside ways? Okay. You agree, you English people, do you agree with me that externalist has a kind of derogative, like condescending connotation, you're externalist? Yes, go ahead, Chinese person.
I just want to comment that 外道 is actually has a pretty negative connotation in Chinese as well. Maybe it's culturally, because it's a common phrase to say 邪门外道. So I always thought it's a bad word till I understood actually the meaning just means it's not internal, it's external. But I always thought it's a bad word.
Yes, it's true that the Chinese nowadays, when you go to Taiwan, you go to China, people say those are 邪门外道. Okay, though it has a negative connotation. But originally, the white Dao doesn't have any negative connotations. It's a function of the times. Really, the true connotation is just outside way. It's not negative at all. Okay? And what does outside way means? Outside way means that it's a way of practice that unfortunately looks for answers outside of the mind. That's all. It has nothing negative at all. It's not derogative. It's not condescending at all. It's very accurate. And also, it's a teaching that's consistent with Mahayana mindset. That is, when we practice Mahayana, when Mahayana teaching is about the teaching of the mind. Okay? When I talked about love, love there is not about another person that you are blindly and desperately in love with. Love, the love I talked about, is a love from your mind, love from your heart. Okay? That is different than the possessive love that worldly people are praise and the outside ways advocate, where you love someone and so forth. And those are not the kind of Buddhist love I talked about. Okay? And so outside of the mind, meaning that because they look for answers to their problems outside of the mind, they will not find a satisfactory and long-term solution. And that's have proven over the years. That is true. The externalist solutions, the outside way solutions, are short-term. They will not. They cannot stand the test of time. For example, talk about love. Possessive love is, for example, they teach that what they teach about is possessive love. Possessive love cannot last because people change. You cannot own people. You cannot own someone's heart. You can only own your heart. That's the only control you have over. You cannot force anyone else to love you. It's their heart. You can't force that. Thank you. All right? So that's why when I talk about love, the love I'm talking about is when you love someone, is you look at yourself, make your heart more lovable. So that love, they look at you and they say, oh my goodness, you are such, I discover that as I get to know you more, you become a more lovely person because your heart is so much more lovely as the more I get to know you. That's a love, that's the kind of love I'm talking about. Because it's a love that is a love of someone's heart. Okay? The outside ways love is possessive. They say, I want to own you. I want to control you. And that's not what we Buddhists look at as love. Okay? So it's not false. Answer to the third question. Outside ways or externalist ways, if you will, okay, are not false. They simply are solutions that will not bring you long-lasting satisfaction. That's all. So in my mind, I have great respect for the other religions, as well as Hinayana people, as well as the teachers. You know, we are all trying to share our wisdom, and the Buddhist approach is different. Okay, and that's all. And it's important for us to say it is because you may disagree with us, especially the externalists or the outside ways people. They say So you're better than us? Okay, and then you don't believe it. You find out. Your solutions will be more short-term than ours. That's all. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with that. Love your ways. Okay? So that's why the Buddha or the Chinese teacher, they use the word outside ways. Okay? Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Kong.
아미타포 마스터 질문 드리겠습니다.
안녕하세요.
저번 주에 그 한 스님께서 음악을 듣는 것에 관해서 질문을 드렸고 마스터께서 이제 답변을 해주셨습니다. 좀 연장해서 춤에 관해서 좀 문의를 드리고 싶습니다. 저는 춤 추는 것을 좋아했었고 종류로는 뭐 그 브레이크 댄스, 뭐 팝핀 이런 이제 스트리트 댄스를 좋아했었고 실제로 어느 정도 좀 잘했고 그리고 관련된 어떤 그 현대무용과 관련된 퍼포먼스도 결합해서 공연을 뭐 아마추어지만 공연을 하기도 했었는데 이런 어떤 춤에 관련된 행위들이 수행에 있어서 방해가 혹시 되는지 좋지 않은지 여쭙고 싶습니다. 두 번째 질문은 제가 회사에서 일을 할 때 일에 이제 막힘이 있을 때 안 풀리거나 그리고 어떤 일에 있어서 일종의 세간적 용어로 이제 장애가 있을 때 차에 가서 이제 바깥에 이제 주차가 돼 있는데 차에 가서 대비주를 읊고 쉬는 시간에 40일 수환을 합니다. 그러면 그렇게 하고 나오면 일이 굉장히 자연스럽게 좀 잘 풀리는 것을 이제 체감하게 되는데 그 원리에 대해서 좀 여쭙고 싶습니다.
Master, I have two questions. Number one, I heard from the last week that one of the venerable asked about listening music. I have a different questions, but related to that, it's about dance. I like to dance, especially break dance, pop dance, and also street dance, and I'm pretty good about it. And also, as an amateur, I perform a modern dance. So my question is, would this dancing will be a problem or obstruction for the cultivation?
Not at all. I feel that if you enjoy dancing, and especially when you're good at it, okay, it's a good thing to do, good thing to pursue. Okay, cultivation is not about you give up things that you enjoy that are important to you. Then it's called dry cultivation. Mine is very wet. Okay, meaning that you should be yourself. Okay, it's not about denying yourself things that are absolutely will not get in the way of your making progress at all. So my approach is slightly different. Okay, yes, in some cases, especially for lay people, that it's okay for you to entertain yourself. For left-form people, we're not supposed to entertain ourselves. However, I have these Koreans here who hear and their English is not good enough. So I say I allow them to watch TV, watch movies, because that's one of the best ways to learn English. Okay, and so you see, the training is not that inflexible at all. Okay, it should be flexible. Okay. And it's never one size fits all. Okay, and so that's perfectly okay to me. That if you enjoy break dancing and such dances, I see no harm in that. Okay, and in particular, it gives joy to you and brings joy to the people who watch you. Why not? If we can help someone's lives, make them have a few moments of joy, that's an act of kindness to both yourself and to others. Okay? So to me, it's okay. I have no problems. So go ahead and dance. I hope you do well. Maybe become a TikTok star or YouTube star or something. Why not? Okay, that's our little contribution to the world. The world is tough enough, is stressful enough. And we can somehow give them a few moments of break. It's perfectly okay. Okay? Anything else? He has another question.
Master, so the second question is, it's about my work. When there's a problem, there's other obstruction that I can resolve at work, what I do is I go to my car and I recite Great Compassion Mantra and do the 42 hands and eyes. And what I notice is naturally the problem resolved. So I would like to know what would be the principle of that.
The principle is very simple. The principle is you doing the right thing. And this is what all of you who learn, who practice with us ought to do. I advocate this because it works for most of us. It works for me all the time, actually. I don't know, but I can't speak for all of you, okay? Because some of you or some of them are disenchanted and then would contradict me. So, but for me personally, I would, if I have a problem, it has been the case with me for the last 25 years of my being exposed to Mahayana, is that when I had problems I could not solve, I'm totally stumped on, no matter where I looked, okay? No matter how hard I thought about a solution. And I found that by some form of meditation, whether you meditate, recite the mantras, like in your case, 42 hands and eyes, or Great Compassion Mantra and so forth, what happened is that you stop thinking about it. You stop using your thinking mind. And when the thinking mind stops, the problems will be, you will be able to see a solution to your problem. And that solution usually is much better than the solution that you can come up with by thinking, by your thinking mind. Okay, that's my experience. In particular, another thing that I did try personally was to listen to the Master Shenhua's explanation. Sometimes I was so distraught, I couldn't even recite, I couldn't even meditate. So, and I felt depressed. So I would listen, particularly those of you there who are battling depression and having low opinions of yourself, okay? What I did is I listened to my Chinese teachers' stuff. Didn't matter what. I just, in that state of mind, you're not thinking clearly. So I grab anything, I just listen or read his book, anything that I could find, grab, or listen, or whatever, okay? I just listened, and it took my mind off my bad feelings about myself, about my low opinion of myself, such a stupid person, can't even fix this problem, how can I, do anything in my life, and so forth. And when your mind stops thinking about that yourself, and you start listening and paying attention to this great sage's words, miracle happened. It relaxed me, cleared my mind. I forgot about my depression. And amazingly, every single time, I found a solution. I said, that's it. That is the solution for this problem. Okay, try that too. All right. Is that it? As far as questions go?
네. 감사합니다.
Okay. You see, Jumi, who last week was insisting on asking her questions regardless, and I cut her off. It's rather impolite of me to cut her off, okay? But somehow she got the message. He says, we should not monopolize the time, okay? And you should listen. So now she's graduated from being a rat to being a chicken. Now she doesn't dare ask questions anymore. You see how quickly you can grow in a week from the size of a rat to a big chicken.
Thank you, Master.
Oh, the chicken is back. Go ahead, chicken.
제가 지난주 법문을 다시 그 참회에 대해서 마스터께서 설명해 주시는 부분을 다시, 그러니까 그걸 위해서 다시 듣기를 했는데, 다시 듣다 보니까, 제가 굉장히 오히려 제가 더 매너가 없고, 이렇게 제가 제가 원하는 것을 얻기 위해서 내가 얼마나 집착하고 다른 사람에 대한 배려가 없는지를 반성하는 시간이었습니다.
Last week, Master, I listened to your Dharma talk about repentance, and I realized I am the one actually impolite. And when I have a goal, I become really possessive and not really thinking about other people. Thank you.
Oh no. Is that really you? I haven't noticed. Jung-in, do you notice that? Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
Thank you very much. The Koreans are so verbose. One yes master says it all. See, after a year watching Netflix, he learned yes master. We're making progress. He can hear, he can understand, but he can't really express himself yet. There's a lot more Netflixes to watch. All right, I have a few more minutes. Anyone else? Yes, Konk.
Hello.
Yes.
So I have something to say to Jumi. May I?
Yes, you may.
So I look back. Actually, she was the reason for me to learn something really good. So I know she's concerned about me not be happy with her or not like her anymore. It's not about that. I think from
what
the
is it
past
about?
1 year. In my ability, I tried to help her as much as I can, but then at the end, I realized that I don't have any wisdom, and then I told her you should go seek help from master or from her center, but she kind of I can see that she thinks that I'm not happy with her or something emotionally, but I'm just speaking the truth. And I'm very glad that she made it to America. And I'm very thankful that she gave me a hard time to help me to grow. I really learned something new from that experience. Thank you.
Go ahead, hug each other.
Oh no. 왜냐하면 전 남편이 있고, 이건 그냥 비유로 말씀드리는 건데, 예, 스님, 현안 스님, 저한테 얘기한다면서 영어로 하셔가지고 좀 유감이네요. 네, 뭐, 덕분에 잘 왔고요. 네, 또 나중에 뵐 수 있으면 봬요. 이상입니다.
Oh, I can't really hug her because I have my husband. And also, Venerable Shenan, I'm kind of sorry that you want to share this information with me, but you spoke in English. But hope to see you later.
Okay, since you have a character here who is a rat, who is a chicken, I'm not sure which. Okay, you should stop judging her. I'm talking about all of you. Okay, this is part of the Great Assembly. We have a bunch of people who are different. Each one of you is unique and special in your own ways. Okay, and you get together, we all get together, and that's the nature of cultivation. That is, you get together with people who are different from you. Actually, some of them are different in ways that are kind of very difficult to take. Yes? Did it happen? Okay. And that's by design. If I only allow people who are perfect like you to come to the temple and cultivate, okay, there's nothing for you to cultivate. It's very good for in the big assemblies to have all kinds of people coming, and especially the ones that we cannot stand. And that's the nature of cultivation. Who's laughing? So many of you now, I cannot point to any single person. But the nice thing about the Great Assembly is that you eventually, each and every one of you, let me tell you this, each and every one of you will find someone who is so repulsive that you cannot stand that person, and you say, if she's here, I'm out of here. Yes? And that's part of the Great Assembly. Because when you have such strong emotions, that's when I like to teach you. When you, like a sheep, you say, oh, I love Buddha, I like to be a good person, I have no ill feelings, my heart is so good, I'm pure, then get out of my place, please. It's not for you. We are imperfect. We are repulsive. If you look close enough, we are very, very repulsive. We greedy for food, yeah? We're stupid. We are angry. We don't listen. We're arrogant. We wear hats in the Buddha hall. You know, you look closely, you're bound to find someone who's it makes you so upset, okay? And that's the beauty of the Great Assembly Dharma. Because we are cultivating. Cultivation is not about thinking the same way. If you're perfect already, if you're pure already, you don't need to come to a way place to cultivate. You should be in the mountain, okay? Cultivating by yourself, okay? But that's a Hinayana way. Mahayana way, in particular, our temple, is that you struggle. You struggle in so many ways. Now that we have a lot of visitors coming to our temple, spending a lot of money to come to our temple during the end of this pandemic thing here, it's very, very brave of them to do that. I need to tell them the truth. You come here, you're going to struggle, including having to be with someone you don't like. Okay? And that's cultivation. Cultivation not supposed to be something pleasant. You have to go somewhere else so that go to a church. Go to a master's temple. It's pleasant over there. They're beautiful. They're perfect. My students are all imperfect. All of them. I look at them. I say, why are you here? Why me? You know, honestly, every single disciple of mine, especially lay people are perfect, of course, but my left home people disciple, let me tell you, except for my lay people disciples, I assure you, they're perfect. Okay? But my left home people disciples, there's not one that I haven't have this reaction. I usually say, oh God, why me? Why can't they go somewhere else? Why can't they run away? I try to encourage them to run away, but they still stick around. Okay? So, you see, I'm cultivating too, in that sense. So, if I have to do it, so will you. So stop complaining. Okay? So when you see someone that you can't stand, you say, oh, you know, keep her away from me. Okay? Not in those exact words. Okay? You should look at yourself. Why do you hate someone so much? What's wrong with your heart? Buddha. You want to learn the Buddha way. There's no one more repulsive, more dangerous than a demon. Let me assure you. And Buddha was willing to talk to them and have no thoughts of harm. And actually is very tolerant of them. He didn't badmouth them. He didn't reject them. Okay? And that's a Buddha way, by the way. We don't reject people. We embrace them. Okay? That's our way. That's why, let me assure you, if you go to a place where everyone is perfect, okay, then you will not be able to make progress as quickly as a place that, like ours, where people are very difficult, very imperfect, very impure, okay? Because it's a lot more helpful to you because it helps me point out to you in this process, why are you so afflicted? You're afflicted. You don't like someone, you blame that person because she's a rat or she's a chicken or she's a snake or whatever. But a snake is a snake. A chicken is a chicken. A rat is a rat. They all serve their purposes. We don't have to hate them. We kill them when it's time to kill them. There's no need to hate them. But, you understand? rats we kill when they become no longer useful. But until then, they're not killed because they're useful. Yes? So, if Buddha can do it, why can't you? And that's your problem. You have a weakness. You have your affliction is so heavy that you cannot let go of your hatred, of your anger, that you have to reject someone. Okay? It's your fault. It's no one else's. You don't have to reject people. You need to learn to embrace people. That's Mahayana. That's the difference between us and the Hinayana people. Hinayana people, let me tell you, when they go to the mountain, let me be blunt with you. Okay? This a story I told you, I was told a long, long time ago when I was at my master's temple at the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Okay, you didn't hear that word from me. I don't like that place anymore. Okay? When I was a novice, I was there, and I heard a story. Would you like to hear? I'm out of time. Shall we wait until next week, or you want me to finish the story? Okay, Xianjie, it's not my fault. They're forcing my hand. You see, I'm not. It's not really my fault. Someone told me, Master Shenhua, about this story, Master Shenhua. There was a monk who came to see Master Shenhua. He's a Hinayana monk. And he says, I went to a mountain. I practiced meditation for 10, 20 years. Okay? And then I'm back here now. So he says, so he recounted the story when he says, one of the things I learned from being alone all these years is that I was alone practicing serene everything. One day, I had this thought. Well, it's been 20 years that I wash. I really can't really wash my clothes properly. I wish I had some detergents to wash my clothes. Okay? And the guy said so proudly to Master Shenhua, you know what, Master? Immediately, see, after 20 years of practicing meditation alone, okay? Immediately, like the next day along, someone appears out of nowhere in the wilderness and gave him some detergent to wash his clothes. And he says, you see, Master, I'm so virtuous that some being came and offered me soap to wash my clothes after 20 years of practice meditation. What's wrong with that? It's not the soap. It's not the clothes. Let me explain to you. That guy still feels he's so special, that he is so special after 20 years that someone needs to make an offering to him. So because he's so special. So it took him 20 years to discover, that he still feels he's special. You understand my point? When you come to my temple, I'll give you soap right away. You don't need to wait 20 years. That's the difference. You stay in your house. You hate someone. You don't. No one has to know. But I just don't like this person. I will not go to any temple when this person, frequents. Okay, and you don't want people to know you have such hatred in your heart. Okay, When you come to my temple, guess what? You find that person you hate so much right in front of you, right next to you, walking with you, eating with you. All right? That's Great Assembly Dharma, folks. That's the difference. Others will help point out your afflictions, your deep afflictions, that even if you meditate doing the Hinayana way for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you still can't see it. But in our environment, same day you discover your hatred in your heart that you never dare admit to anyone. Okay? Whose fault is it? You're going to tell me that it's the person who offered that monk the detergent to do the soap? No, it's the monk who somehow decides to harbor that the thought he's so special. Okay? Same thing. Why do you have to hate someone? Buddha doesn't hate anyone. You're Buddhist. Why do you hate so much? You cannot say, I hate so much because that person is an evil person. No, you're the one who's evil, from my perspective. That person is just being herself. You don't have to judge people. Accept them as who they are. And that's a love I talked about when we first started. The love, the universal love. You accept people as they are. Not the kind of love, possessive love, where they have to be what you want them to be. All right? Thank you. See you next week.